Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at your life and thought, this isn't how I imagined my story would go? Maybe the promotion didn't happen, the relationship ended, the business hasn't grown the way you hoped, the dream feels further away than it used to be, or maybe you're simply in a season where nothing seems to be moving. If that's where you are, I want to offer you a different perspective. What if this isn't failure? What if you're simply standing in the middle of a chapter that hasn't reached its ending yet? Hey, friend, welcome to Leveling Up Talks, brought to you by MaxUverse. I'm Susan. For more than 20 years, I've worked in HR business management, helping people navigate career transitions, leadership burnout, and life's unexpected changes. And one thing I've learned is this: some of the chapters we try the hardest to escape eventually becomes the ones we're most grateful for. So there's a quote from Nora Ephron that has stayed with me for years. Everything is copy. What she meant was that every experience, even the painful ones, eventually becomes part of the story. The older I get, the more I believe that's true. Before we go any further, if you ever experienced a setback that eventually became a turning point in your life, would you take a moment to like this episode? If someone comes to your mind while you're listening to this, share it with them. You never know who needs the reminder that their story isn't over. So, I think that one of the hardest parts about life is that we judge our story while still living it. We decide something is a failure before we even seen where it leads. We assume that the closed door was the ending. We assume that delay means we're behind. And we assume that detour means that we lost our way. But what if we're trying to understand chapter 12 while chapter 20 hasn't even been written yet? Let me ask you another question. What's one chapter of your life you wish you could skip? Hold that thought. We'll come back to it. Have you ever looked back and realized the season you once wanted to erase actually changed your life? Maybe it was the job you didn't get, the move you never planned, the relationship that ended, the opportunity that disappeared. At the time, if I felt like a loss, looking back, it became redirection. That's one of the hardest truths about growth. We rarely understand the purpose of a chapter while we're living it. After our conversation about second acts, so many people reached out and said, Susan, that's exactly where I am, the middle, not where they started. Not where they're going either, just in between. And the middle is uncomfortable. The old version of your life is no longer fits. The new version has arrived yet. That's where doubt shows up. Comparison, fear, impatience. That's why so many people quit. Not because they lack ability or because uncertainty is exhausting, but I've learned something. The middle chapter is often where transformation quietly begins. That's one reason I created Boss Buddy. Not because every season needs a better plan. Sometimes it needs a place to process, a place to reflect, a place to remind yourself that uncertainty doesn't mean you're failing. If you like a free copy, you'll find the link in the description below. So, this conversation immediately reminds me of The Gap and the Gain by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. It's such a powerful reminder to stop measuring yourself by how far you still have to go and start recognizing how far you've already come. It also reminds me of The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest, because sometimes the obstacle isn't the end of the story, it's the chapter that changes everything. That's why I love Lit Loop by MaxUverse. Books help us understand our own stories while we're still writing them. Writing my book has taught me this lesson over and over again. As I revisit different chapters of my life, I realize the moments I once labeled as failures were often the moments that prepare me for everything that came next. At the time, I couldn't see it, of course, and I just knew things were going according to plan. But looking back, those chapters changed the person writing this book today. If you like to follow that journey, I love to have you join me at SusanRiley.co. Here's your glow forward wisdom. Don't judge your story from the middle of the chapter. Some of life's greatest plot twists first arrives disguised as setbacks. Keep turning the page. The best part of your story may still be ahead. Remember the question I asked earlier? What's one chapter of your life you could skip? What if that chapter became the reason you are who you are today? This week, I want you to think about one setback from your past. Then ask yourself, what did it teach me? How did it change me? What became possible because I lived through it? You might discover that what felt like an ending was actually a beginning. If today's conversation resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with someone who's questioning their path right now. Like this episode, subscribe if you're enjoying these conversations, and leave me a comment. I read all the messages. I love to know what's one setback that eventually became a blessing in disguise. I read every comment. I truly believe we grow by learning from each other's stories. And if you're looking for a community of readers, dreamers, builders, and lifelong learners, come join us inside the free MaxUverse Circle on Facebook. We love to welcome you there. Before we wrap up, I want you to remember something. Your story is still being written. One difficult chapter doesn't define the whole book. So don't close the cover too soon, my friend. Turn that page, keep reading, keep growing, and keep becoming. Go be bold, go be brilliant, go be you. And remember, this isn't failure. It may just be the plot twist that changes everything. Until next time, read, reflect, rise, read with intention, live with purpose. I'll see you at MaxUverse.com.